And we're back after a long hiatus. Um, Last time I talked to you, this was going to be a podcast. And now that I think about it, I prefer things off the cuff. I prefer to do things when I want. So Sabrina Monet Talks is pretty much somewhere where I'm going to rant when I feel it's justified and needed, and essentially when I have time. I haven't had a chance to sit down until now to talk about things that have happened recently. And I think the first thing we have to talk about, since our intro is inspiration, and mine happened last week at the Madcap Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. I hope you go and check it out. I don't know how long it's going to be there. I should have done research. I think it's at least going to be there the next few months. Please stop by and check it out. It was a friend who referred me to this place. Hey, Stavros. We went together, and I didn't realize it had been over a year since I had attended an event like this. I'd been to the movies, I'd been to public places, but I had not gone to a pop-up exhibit or a museum in a very long time, and I forgot what it was like to be around people. There was about 20 minutes of anticipation standing in line. Uh, I felt a bit awkward there, but I got used to it. Chatting with someone while standing in line used to be a normal part of life, but on this day, I was at a loss for words a lot of the time because I just found myself staring with my mask on at my surroundings. But once we were inside, that became okay because there's actors, it's an immersive experience, and the atmosphere and setting takes over so that words are no longer needed. The gist of this is that you have checked into a motel that goes to a parallel universe or alternate dimension. You start out in a lobby, and it looks like a 1970s Twin Peaks lobby. They got everything done perfect. The setting, the actors, the music that's playing, it's 100%. I loved it. I took a lot of photos. I took a lot of video, which I did post on my Instagram. Sabrina Monet is my handle if you want to check it out. After the initial wait time in the waiting room, you're led into one of the rooms. This I got a kick out of because I've been to museums or pop-ups rather, where you're taken from one room to another and the rooms are split up by themes. The overall theme of this was that you're in a motel. You're made to feel like you're in a motel. So we all stepped in through this room and were led to a large room where we're told to watch television. A short snippet comes on and explains stuff to us about what we're about to experience. Almost like a Twilight Zone scenario. And after a while, this housekeeper, comes out of the wall. It's sort of a jolt moment. I'm a little on the blind side, so I knew there was movement in front of me, and by the time I saw her exit through her to come into the room through her special entrance, I wasn't shocked, because at first I just saw a bunch of people going, whoa, and walking around, and then I said, oh, okay, someone's entered the room. Okay, and now I get it. Smoke fills a portion of the room with a green, mysterious light, and you're made to walk through the darkness into the next room. When you enter the next room, you're in sort of a science lab. Lots of windows. If you've ever been to like Chabot Space Station or any of those kid-friendly NASA-type museums, that was the feel of this room. So, you're pressing the buttons, you're moving the knobs. It's great. There's sort of a mad scientist who tells you the rules. You go into a huge garden area, and there are many doors. Each door is a different experience. They just tell you don't walk through door number 7 until the very end. Essentially, door number 7 is the exit. We start out in a room, and this was the one I got a kick out of. This is the one that I saw in the commercial that sold me on even going. You open the door, and there's a screen playing media video of essentially this clouds, large, beautiful cumulus clouds. But when you touch the screen, it turns into a different film. It turns into the cosmos. That was really great. They said, go ahead and push it in as much as you want. You'll just go to the alternate dimension. I was afraid of breaking the screen, so I just sort of like poked at it a bit. I had a friend, she's tiny, but still, she leaned her entire body weight into it, and it still did not give. That made me nervous, but it did its job. I have a few videos of that posted online as well, and I just love the idea of opening a door and not knowing where it leads, or it leading to one place and you believe it's headed where it's supposed to go, and then it turns into something completely different. The next room that we went into had some hands-on things to play with, sort of like 1970s like arcade games, and that was a fun room. The next room, they designed it to be like the outdoors, so you walk in and it's like you're walking on grass, and there's a hillside that you can sit on, and it's playing films on the wall as if you're at a drive-in movie theater. That was cool. The next room, sort of like a submarine desert room. It gave me if you've ever seen the Love Show at the Mirage in Vegas, the Beatles show, it gave me that feeling. It had that vibe to it. My favorite room is probably the mirror room. And in this room, it's just wall-to-wall mirrors. The ceiling comes up and down with strobe lights. And the floor, it's sort of the same type of floor that you would see in a maze mirror house at a carnival. So the only thing about that is that I have this fear of falling. So I didn't look at the floor too much. Actually, I looked at the floor to make sure that I was somewhere stable. And then once I got to that area, I realized I was tall enough that if I just stretched my arm up, I could touch the ceiling. And that's how I was able to navigate without getting too dizzy while I was spinning around. And that room was a lot of fun, especially since it had a lot of great music playing at the time that I was there. When you walk out into the courtyard, it's that indoor-outdoor feel of just having a water fountain and a garden within your home. And I love that style. It was peaceful there. So I sat down, we had a conversation, we met different people. It just looked like a part of LA was there to get back into exploring things that we haven't necessarily had a chance to in a while. Nothing was brought up about... It was a suspension of everyday life and just embracing the now. So that was fun. The next thing you do is you line up for door number 7. And I thought maybe, okay, this will be an experience when you walk through. They only let a handful of people in at the time because it's another presentation with actors where they tell you about where you've been, what you've been up to, and they do the big reveal, which is you were never at the motel. You were actually in an alternate dimension, and now you're being returned back to Los Angeles. That was fun. When you turn the corner, it's like exiting the ride, if you will, and you're led to a door, and out that door, you're back in the parking lot where you started. I loved Madcap Motel. I've been to a few. I haven't done Ice Cream. I haven't done Flutter. It's on my list. The only thing I can compare the pop-up museum to would possibly be the staged horror houses that you go to during Halloween. To take that level of fear and the different rooms that you navigate when you're going through something like Pirates of Emerson, that is Madcap Motel. So instead of fearing for your life as you're running from zombies or getting chased by someone with a chainsaw, you are experiencing alternate dimension rooms or a world that an artist has created, like Ice Cream. I have the Taco Museum on my list now that I get the way that pop-ups work. And definitely going to check out Flutter. What I've realized is that I really love art installations, which I've known for a while. Every time they came to MoMA, I would try to buy tickets and go. Anything that incorporates media and light into their project is one that I'm interested in and one that I try to get tickets to. Van Gogh is up there on my list. I'd like to see the Bansky exhibit if I can get tickets before they sell out. which leads me to a conversation that I had with my friend who I attended this pop up with, and that is the use of the word museum. I'm not married to it. I don't have an issue. If you want to call it a museum, go for it. But I understand the hesitance to refer to a pop up exhibit that's essentially okay. It's someone's art. Someone created it. There is an argument that they created it and had it geared towards people who like to share their experience on social media, who like to take immersive photographs of themselves and selfies where they are the center of the story. I fall into that category a lot of the times. So I appreciate it when you set up a room that has stations where I can take photos and share where I'm at with friends and essentially frame it in a way that puts me at the center of the story. And I enjoy that. Does that take away from the artist's work? I don't believe so. I think things are evolving. I think things change. And I don't think people like to spend the money that they do and walk through an exhibit of someone else's thoughts and ideas without having a chance to reflect on themselves. And if reflecting on themselves means taking their own photo and sharing it with their own circle, I have at it. I believe that these pop-up exhibits are here to stay. I found myself thinking, wow, could I do one of these? Could I put my ideas together and have someone fund a project like this for me? Then I Googled it and found out how many there are out there. I was like, it's like opening a restaurant. Don't do it. But what I do see happening in the future is that these amazing artists who have created these exhibits, instead of them becoming the norm, I believe larger institutions like museums, like MoMA, like Guggenheim, like Getty, I believe they will take these ideas that these artists have created on their own, these indie pop-ups, and they will incorporate it into their larger institutions because they realize to get the foot traffic, to get people there, to get people interested, you're going to have to make media the message, and you're going to have to center it around the person who's viewing it, because not only does that individual want to be moved, want to learn something, they also want to tie it to themselves. Because if you look at a standard museum, who wants to go spend half an hour looking at some genius's work and just walk out and say, wow, that person was so amazing. Wow, they're so brilliant. They're so smart. You want something for yourself there. So if there's a chance to snap a photo with a Van Gogh in the background, and not just a framed Van Gogh that you know he touched and made himself, blah, 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 but a chance to immerse yourself on a massive Van Gogh, almost putting your fist through it like Steve Wynn. Who doesn't want to have that feeling? So I say have at it for the pop-ups. And the use of the word museum, I don't have a problem with that. But then again, it's not my world. It's one that I enjoy visiting from time to time. It's one that when I'm invited or it's suggested, I hop to it and go for it. But I don't have any strong feelings either way. I believe whoever creates their art and puts it in any kind of environment where people can enjoy it, that's the way you do it. I love it. I want to visit more. I hope I get an opportunity to. And yes, up on my list, the Van Gogh experience, Flutter, Bansky, and there was something else that was mentioned to me that I wanted to try. It was an art installation. I've forgotten what it is, but it's in the same vein as everything that I've already listed. So there is a huge to-do. There might even be a trip to Vegas, because just seeing those commercials and the ads for Area 15 and how the Zappos guy, my old boss, created the Area 15 down by Fremont Street, having all of those experiences in one location with air conditioning and seating, I'm all for it. that might be a 2-day trip in the future just to see all of that. But yeah, I really enjoyed Madcap Motel. You can find them on Instagram. And please, if you're in the LA area, go down there and check it out. I believe they let people in groups of 10, but then you're joined with everyone else once you enter that garden area and the doors are in front of you. I find it was relaxing. It was air conditioned. It was a fun way to spend a Saturday in Los Angeles, just enjoying art. So give it a go. And speaking of immersive experiences that are set up by artists, Olivera Street was amazing. I'm from the Bay Area, and I used to spend time down in the Mission. Seeing Olivera Street was a great experience, and just it's one of the best burritos I've ever eaten in my life. And just walking there, you go to downtown LA. Downtown LA, that was actually my second trip this past month. I had also done the Stranger Things experience, which is the drive-through experience, which was backed by Netflix money. You don't need me to tell that story. It was great. It was fun. It had a huge, it had funds, so you knew it was going to be awesome. But enjoying Olivera Street was a surprise to me. Knowing it was there was a surprise to me, and it's definitely somewhere I will return to because I love the food, I love the atmosphere, and there is a purse that I saw at one of the stalls that I would return to buy, and it is on my to-do list. But walking through this pop-up exhibit, and I was running through ideas that I would do for a pop-up exhibit before I decided it just wasn't my field. The large oversized chair that people stopped to take photos of in the Madcap Motel. When I sat there and had my photo taken, it was a lot of fun. But it's not like Disney where, hey, if you can't jump 2 feet off the ground, use this railing and this elevator. It wasn't like that. There wasn't even a sign as to how to get up there. It was just assumed that if you were able-bodied, you'd find a way to make it to the top of that chair. And it had me thinking about insurance for some reason. And so I had a chat with my current boss, and I said, if you build exhibits which are essentially sometimes just made out of the same material that drywall is, what safety measures does one take when the pieces are immersive? And it was explained to me that it's more like a storefront. So the exhibit probably has the same amount of insurance that if you trip at maybe at a Target, because that's massive, but if you trip at a mom and pop store in any location, the insurance that covers them if you fall and hurt yourself is probably the same insurance that these exhibits use. And with that in mind, I thought about just all the things that could possibly happen in this exhibit with the gadgets and everything you touch. And essentially, I don't know if it's a left-right brain thing, but I thought to myself, I would lose sleep every night thinking of a way that someone would hurt themselves, maim themselves, and possibly die trying something that I did not imagine could be done with my exhibit when it was created. I'm probably thinking too deeply of this, and everyone who creates one of these probably has lawyers who lose sleep over it, but that was one of the thoughts that ran through my mind as I was enjoying the art at Madcap Motel. So, yes, I'm still anxious, and certain thoughts invade my space even when I'm trying to be creative and clearing my mind. On that note, I'm going to start meditating. I enjoyed it back when I was in Northern California. I'm looking for my forever home here in Southern California, where I can do this. And when I say meditate, I mean somewhere that will teach me to sit for at least 20 minutes, not speak, not think, and just breathe. other than being unconscious while sleeping. There is no other time where I have that moment, and I would like to find it. So that might be a topic for another time. Today was just about pop-up exhibits or pop-up museums or however you would like to call it. Today was about art in spaces and how we get there, how we enjoy it, how we consume it, how we share what we consume, and what it means to us. Check out the Madcap Motel in downtown LA in the next few months. It's worth the wait. It's worth the drive down there. And that's a wrap for today. Good night.